Okay, welcome back to the second half of this project. Again, we're on step 9, and this is where we're going to click on fees and credits. So notice in your workbook, you have 2 worksheets, student loan, fees and credits. So we're on fees and credits at this point. Now this is the part of the project that I think takes a little bit more of your time, to be honest. So just make sure that you follow along. I won't guarantee I'll have 100, but I'll certainly try, and then we will troubleshoot any errors that we have. Okay, so we're going to click the Fees and Credits tab and select cell F7. Okay, F7. And then what we're going to do is click the equals, D7, okay, D7, and press enter. Okay, so our total fees, nope, I missed a step already. Let's do that again. So our total fees is equal to D7 times, I knew I something wasn't right there, D7 to E7, okay? So 1,500. So again, it's always nice to have your sample solution up so that you can make sure that you are getting things correct. So that number should be 1,500, and in fact it is. Okay, so we did that step. Now we're going to double click the fill pointer for F7 to copy the formula. Okay, so here we are, F7, and we're going to double click. There we go. Now that should have filled everything in, and it should be in currency format, which in fact it is. And you know that because when the $ sits right against the number, that is currency format. You can always double check it by going to Home, Number, and checking to make sure it's in currency. Okay, that is perfect. Okay. Now verify it is, and then set a single bottom border on cell F18. Okay, so F18. Okay, see how that's not filled in? So we'll go to F18, and then we will set our border. That is under the Font Home font group, and then bottom border. Okay, perfect. That's an easy one to forget. Okay, now we're going to use the SUMIF to calculate statistics by department. Okay, because this is more for what a college would do. So this is really kind of a cool exercise. So we're going to select cell C26. So C26, and that's right here, number of students. We're going to click on the Math and Trig button that's in our Formulas tab. And then we're going to go to our function library group. Okay, Math and Trig, function library, and then Math and Trig. And we're going to look for SUMIF. Okay, and they, of course, are all alphabetical. SUMIF. Okay, now that we have our SUMIF open, I'm going to click in the range box, and I'm going to select cells B7 through B18. So B7 through B18. Notice how that box kind of just gets out of my way. That's really nice. Or you can always just move it. Okay, now we are going to press the F4 button. Okay, that makes that a absolute reference. Okay, so now we've done through step D. Now we're going to click on the criteria box, which is right here. And we're going to select B26. So let's see, B26. Okay, there's B26. We're going to then press our F4 key again to make an absolute reference there. We're going to click the sum range box, and we're going to select cells D7, okay, D7 through D18. Again, notice how that jumps out of my way, which is wonderful. And we're going to click that, or press the F4. Okay, now we're going to click OK. So there is that, and that should be, number of students should be 37, so that is correct. Okay, perfect. Now we need to copy a SUMIF function. So we're going to click on cell C26, and we are going to drag its fill pointer to copy the formula to cells C27 through C29 without formatting to preserve the borders. So what we're going to do here is drag this down, and then notice how this little guy pops up. We're going to use the down arrow, and we're going to say fill without formatting. There we go. So those should be, and those are not correct. Let me see what is wrong there. Those numbers are not correct. Should be 35, 36, and 42. Let me see what I did incorrectly there. Okay, guys, that took me a minute to figure out, but I'm going to go back through this step and just show you. It really should be here where it says press the F4 button 3 times to make it a mixed reference. And I apologize, I did not see that the 3 times. So when you do that, then it makes it a mixed reference. Now, I did mess up one thing here, and that was when I copied the formatting down. I forgot to choose fill without formatting. So there we go. So that was the step that I missed. I'm glad I caught it now rather than later. But again, that is what you need to do. Your $B26 should be $B26. That's a mixed reference. So that's a little bit different, but that way it is looking at each of the departments to get the total numbers. So these total numbers are correct, 37, 35, 36, and 42. If yours does not match that, please go back and fix your formula. Okay, so see how quickly it is. You just think you know what the instructions say, and that was totally something that I missed. Okay, so now we're going to click on cell C26. Okay, C26. Actually, I think we already did this one. Oh, already did this one. We're going to copy. We did that. We copied the formula again without formatting. So now we're going to copy the formula in cell C26 to D26 and E26. So D and E, and there we go. And so right now that cannot be correct either. So let's see what we need to do there. All right, so it tells us to troubleshoot. Let me go ahead and see what needs to happen there. Now, I don't see that it's an error that's been flagged. Copy the formula. And let me try a different approach to copying this formula. I should just be able to fill it over. Copy the formula from C26 to D26 and E26. Yeah, that is not correct. Okay, I'm going to move on because I think it is in the troubleshooting step. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to select cell D26. So D26, and then it says click the trace precedence button. So formulas tab, formula auditing group, and it's here, and trace precedence. Okay, so there we go. Yes, so there is the error. Okay, I think I just was getting ahead of myself again. We're going to click the insert function button in the formula bar. Insert function button in the formula bar, and we are going to fix this. So select the entry in the sum range box. So right here, and we're going to select, I'm going to highlight that, we're going to select F7 through F18. So F7 through F18. Again, notice how that just moves out of my way, which is great. And then we're going to press the F4. There we go. And then we are going to press enter or OK. All right, perfect. Okay, I think that is, yes, that is the correct answer. So I was just getting ahead of myself. I'm like, that can't be correct. Okay, so now we are going to click on D26. And it says, click the trace error button. The formula is inconsistent with the formula in C26, so we're going to ignore the error. So basically, see the little triangle here? We're going to use the little drop down, and we're going to say ignore error. Okay, perfect. We're going right along now. Now we're going to copy cell D26 to D27 through 29. So we're going to go through D26 and we're going to copy down, right, without formatting. So again, drop down here and say fill without formatting. There we go. Now we're going to format those cells as currency. So we already have them selected. We can go up here to home, number, and change this to currency. There we go. All right, now we're going to, let me click these off. And now we're going to do E26. So here's our E26. And we are going to, it says click E26. This was copied as a SUMIF formula, but it is not a SUMIF calculation. You need to multiply the values in column C by the values in column D. So we're going to delete this. So this is what was driving me crazy. I hadn't worked through the whole project. So let's go ahead and we've pressed delete. Now we're going to go click the Math and Trig button. So we're going to go back to our Formulas tab. We're going to go to Math and Trig, and we're going to find Sum Product. Move on down here to Sum Product. And then we are going to click in for Array 1. We're going to choose cells C7 through C9. So C7 through, I got ahead of myself, C9, that's biology. And then we are going to click for array 2, and that's going to be D7. So D7 through D9. Okay, again, that's biology. And then we are going to click OK. There we go. All right, and then it says, click the trace error button in E26 to display the menu. The formula omits cells that are adjacent to the array arguments, but this is not an error, so we're going to ignore that one. So ignore that error as well. And that is the correct number. So that is awesome. So at this point, that is what your spreadsheet should look like. Now we're going to complete some product formulas for E27 through E29. And it says here, if you choose to copy the formula in the cell E26, you need to edit each copy to use the correct array arguments. You can complete the formulas and then select the cells with error triangles and ignore the errors all at once. And then you want to preserve or copy the formatting from C26 for cells E26 through 29. Okay, so first of all, let's do this. Let's C26, that's E. Okay, I think I understand what they mean here, but right now I'm going to go ahead and copy these, and we are going to fill without formatting. I believe that's what we want to do. And so now what we want to do is we want to fix each one of these. So say ignore the error. We're going to fix these. So these are not quite the right numbers at the moment, but I'm going to help you fix those. And the reason is because the array is not correct. Oh my goodness, why can't I click on that? There we go, ignore error. So let's make sure, yeah, these are not the correct numbers, and you can look at your solution to know that, but here's why. So this is using an array C7 through C9 and D7 through D9. This will use array, this is going to be for foreign language. This is going to use let's see, 10 through 12. So this will be C10 through C12. We can just manually do this, and this will be 10 through 12. And then here's the cool part. Notice how Excel highlights those. So we can clearly see we got everything for foreign language. We'll hit enter. And so the number 105 should be correct. Oh, I guess I should have waited because look, it's still going to show that's an error and I'll have to fix it again. So ignore the error. That's fine. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time clicking on that tonight. Okay, now this one is for IMS. So that would be, I guess they're technology ones. So for IMS, that is going to be 13 through 15. So we're just going to change these numbers, 13 through 15. And again, we can make sure they're correct by just looking at the highlights. So 13 through 15. Now we could have gone back the long way to do these, but I personally find it's just as easy to do it this way. And then the last one, and then we'll fix those errors, is for our department for PHY, like physics, that type of thing. So we're going to go ahead and say that is going to be 16 through 18, our rows. Yes, our rows, 16 through 18. 16 through 18. Okay, let me just ignore these errors. Oops. Again, not sure why I'm having such a hard time reaching this with my mouse tonight. Ignore error and ignore error. Okay, perfect. So those numbers are correct according to the solution. So I feel good about those. I'm hoping that I did the formatting as they wanted. But if that's the only thing that I did incorrectly, because it says preserve or copy the formatting from C26. So C26 is here. And it looks to me like that's just to copy the formatting E26. So I'm a little concerned that I didn't get that copied correctly because I said without formatting. But we'll see when I upload it. If that's all I missed, I'll be happy. All right, select cell F31. So F31, actually, I'm just going to do this real quick. F31 puts me right there. And now we're going to put today's date in here. So we're going to use equals today. And in my case, today is the second one down. So I'm going to have to choose it and then hit tab. And if I just put another parenthesis there, that's going to put today's date in my spreadsheet. Now it tells me to press enter and then control home. Control home. Okay, now we're going to paste the range names. We're almost finished with this project. So we're going to go and make a new sheet. So we hit the plus button and now we're going to name this new sheet range names. Now a couple ways to do that. I can just double click quickly in here and then type range names. Remember, you have is case sensitive, so you have to do it this way and don't add any extra spaces. Press enter, or you could have done a right click and hit rename. Either one will work. Now we're going to go up here to A1 and we are going to press F3. I'm sorry, not yet. We're going to press F3 to get our range names and we're going to say paste list. And then they're asking us to auto fit these columns. A couple different ways you can do that. One of the fastest ways is right here between B and C, just double click and it will auto fit your content. I'm sorry, between A and B, auto fit your contents. Okay, there's other ways to do that, but that is an easy way to do it. Okay, so now that looks correct to me and we're going to hit save for our worksheet and close the worksheet and we are going to upload the file. Okay, let's go back and upload this for grading. I do think I did fairly well. I think there might be one item that did not get done properly. But again, I'll let you guys troubleshoot that if that is the case. So I'm going to pull this right over here. And let me make sure that is my file. Yes, it is. And I'm going to go ahead and submit it. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. This was a very long project and it definitely took a little patience. Okay, perfect. But we did it. 34 out of 34, we did get a 100. So hopefully you did too. If not, please just correct the items that you got incorrect. Okay. Anytime you're not getting something according to the solution, always go back and reread the directions. Google can be your friend. Also, sometimes even AI could be your friend. I'm not quite sure what we would have asked it, but at the same time, you can, kind of just take a step back and see where you are. If you get totally stuck, remember, send me a Canvas inbox message and let me know which step you're on and what's going on. Even send me your file, let me know, and I'll be able to help you out. Hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching.